I'm so tired right now,
Yeah.
mentally,
Okay.
physically, I've never been this tired.
That's I have I've arrived at the point in my career, which is as you know, I will always be known as quote the controversial president of the University of college, whatever the hell that means. But I tell you, I've arrived at that point in my career where
Shall we look to God in prayer? God of all of our yesterdays, we are thankful that you have gifted us with memory. As we gather here on this commencement evening, our thoughts sweep back to the years behind us, to the teachers who opened our minds to new avenues of understanding, to the friends who stood with us and made the worst of times livable and even laughable, and to the parents who forever prodded us and encouraged us, and in spite of our failings, loved us. For these special and lasting memories, we thank you. God of all of our tomorrows, we admit it is sometimes scary to stand at the threshold of new experiences. When doors are closing, we aren't always sure of the others that are opening. Grant us faith to follow your guidance, to enter into the future humbly yet boldly, carefully yet courageously, wonderingly yet wisely. God of the present moment, be fresh and abundantly with us at this hour. Make this a celebration that speaks not only to our minds, but to our hearts, not just to our emotions, but to our wills. It is true that we may not long remember what is said here, but we can forever remember what we have done here as we recommit our lives to the service of our God and of this world, a world that you love. In your name we pray. Amen.
Please be seated. On behalf of the class of 1992, I would like to welcome Reverend Schaub, Dr. Eichhoff, Mr. Hordyke, Mr. Gola, the Board of Education, our teachers, as well as all the family and friends who are gathered here today to celebrate our commencement. Not too long ago, I looked at seniors in the high school and thought about how distant graduation was. Now we all find ourselves in the midst of it today. Tonight is a night of mixed emotions, a night for smiles, a night for tears, for laughter and goodbyes. But most of all, tonight is a night of success. In a few brief moments, we will all take the final step out of high school and our first step into adulthood. As we take this step, we also take the world. Friends, the world is yours. I'd like to welcome our first speaker, Ms. Jennifer Johnson.
Hi. My speech tonight is going to be about experiences. Well, we finally made it. And I can't believe how much we've gone through together. All the days in school we've shared together. And perhaps, aside from today, the most significant of these days was that first day of school, freshman year, when all you could think of after it was, and we have 4 more years of this? Remember? It was a sunny day in the valley, and we were all forced to wake up early. That is, if we wanted to be here on time. We were crowded into the auditorium, all 160 or so of us, and told some things that we were sure were lies. Does this ring a bell? Oh, these 4 years will fly by. After our first, and for some of us our last, Hopewell assembly, we went quickly through our classes to get an idea of where the rooms were. And of course, we spent 2 minutes in each class and little more for passing time. So by 10 o'clock, when the upperclassmen came in, we were confused just enough to be easily taunted by them. Does this sound like a plot to you? But the best part was yet to come, because it was a shortened day, and our classes were rearranged in the schedule so that they weren't in the same order as they had been that morning. Now, if that's not a plot, I don't know what is. So as we struggled through finding our classes for the second time, we had to deal with the high school veterans who were all too eager to help. They gave us pointers about everything, so that by the end of the day, we were looking for the stairs for the second floor, waiting for lunch to become open campus, waiting for football and cheerleading tryouts. But we were also anxiously waiting to befriend Mrs. Baker. Over the years, we've shared about 740 school days together, some of us more and some of us much, much less. And we've had better days and we've had worse days. But every day was full of experiences from which we learned more than we would ever learn from any beat-up, paper bag-covered textbook with our names written on the inside cover in ink. An experience is living through an event, and there are good experiences and bad, but we learn from all experiences. There is no better way to learn. I mean, we could read all we wanted to about how we should keep our shoes tied, but we would never remember unless we tripped while walking somewhere really important, like to get our diplomas at graduation. Think back on the mistakes you've made. I know mistakes aren't the most fun to think about, but think of what you've learned from them. Our bad experiences are the easiest to learn from. Like, have you ever made the mistake of not looking at the words on the bathroom door and just walking right into the bathroom made for the opposite sex? Or even worse, the faculty bathroom. Or how about when you were little and you ate the yellow snow by accident? You learned quite quickly that that was a mistake and changed your behavior to see that it didn't happen again. Now I want everyone to close their eyes for a minute. Close your eyes and think of one of those really embarrassing moments in life that everyone has at one point in time. Now, I want you to think of what you learned from it. When I asked myself this, I remembered in my freshman year how one of my classmates decided he wanted to see how tight the waistband on my shorts was. And so he pantsed me in the middle of the hallway during passing time, and that was pretty embarrassing. But I got over it, and I learned to wear shorts that tie at the waist. But experiences aren't always bad mistakes or embarrassments. And we've all had good experiences, too. Think of all the friends we've made and what we've learned from them. Think of the senior prom and the senior picnic and the fun we had. Think of all the history we've lived through. The destruction of the Berlin Wall, the Gulf War, the formation of the European Economic Community. Whether our experiences are good or bad, we continue to learn from them. And we learn about life and other people and ourselves. That's a scary thought, huh? But we don't always have to experience things ourselves to learn from experience. For generations before us, people have been learning from their experiences and have passed what they have learned on to others. That is where textbooks come from, and that is where organized education comes from. So that teachers can learn from their experiences and from the experiences of others, and then pass what they have learned down to us, so that we may take that information and use it to experience new things and learn even more. Then we can pass that new information down to the next generation. A former Nobel Peace Prize winner, Elie Wiesel, said in an address to college graduates, "To learn means to accept the postulate that life did not begin at my birth. Others have been here before me, and I walk in their footsteps. The books I have read were composed by generations of fathers and sons, mothers and daughters, teachers and disciples. I am the sum total of their experiences, their quests, and so are you." We must sometimes accept what others have experienced and learn from that alone, and sometimes it's easier this way too. That's why Peter Brady once repeatedly said, "Mom always said, don't bait ball in the house. Mom always said, don't play ball in the house." But in this situation, it's a lot easier to learn from the show rather than to go home and break a lamp because you were playing ball in the house. And never try and lie and glue the lamp back together. It's just not worth it. So, sometimes we do need to learn from others, and some lessons can only be learned from our own experiences. We have to have confidence that we will benefit from all we do. And then we just have to be ourselves and do it the way we feel is best. This way we can build more and more good experiences, ones that will provide happy memories. Then we must take what we have learned from our experiences and pass this knowledge on. Now, I want you all to think of one of your best experiences in the past 4 years. How many of you said tonight? Well, if tonight is one of the best experiences you've had, then think of what you've learned from it. I hope that you can leave here thinking a few things. 1, we must be ourselves and use all of our talents and energies to be happy. 2, we must live our lives to the fullest and not let them pass us by. And 3, thank God we made it out of here. I'd like to introduce our next speaker is Sam Byard. He's speaking on humor.
Hi, y'all. My name's Sam, and this is my friend Betty. She's my wonderful hat. She's a little nervous tonight. This is the first time she's ever spoken in front of so many people before. But not to worry, she'll be just fine. I'm gonna take her off now and get comfortable. Well, I know there's probably someone out there who's meaning well, and they're saying, "Oh, now look what the ninny's gone and done. He's walked up there looking like a fool on graduation day, and now no one's gonna take anything he has to say seriously." Well, folks, that's exactly what I want. For a few minutes, I want y'all to exercise your sense of humor. Don't take me too seriously. After all, I'm not of much importance. And don't take yourself too seriously either. Just relax and open your mind up to something that's a little different, maybe a little irrational, but maybe a little helpful also. Well, I was sitting back and I was thinking about this speech I had to write, and I decided that I needed something different to make it good. And I thought, and I realized that what my speech needed was a hero. That's right, a hero. No, I'm not the hero, and no, these people aren't the hero, and you're not the hero either. My hero is a guy named Max. And Max is a character from a children's book called Where the Wild Things Are. I hope some of you remember it. It's a good book. You're missing something if you don't. And that's right, I'm 18 years old, and I'm going to college next year, and I'm going to pay a lot of money to become an English major and study real fancy books, and I'm still reading children's books, but what can I say? You caught me on that one. But anyway, I chose Max because he's a whole lot like all of us that are graduating today. Max is a kid at heart, and he likes to wear a wolf suit, and he likes to get rowdy and crazy up in his room sometimes, and sometimes his parents get angry at him. They reprimand him a lot. And anyway, Max is going on a journey, and this is the most important things. Max's journey is a lot like ours. He's going on a journey to where the wild things are. The land where the wild things are is a scary and crazy place. There are lots of hairy and scary monsters there with big horns and purple teeth and green eyebrows and orange fire pouring out of their ears. It's the kind of place that can overwhelm an average Joe in a wolf suit if he's not prepared. So what's Max to do? Well, the answer lies in what I started with earlier. The key is that Max has got to learn to laugh at his situation. He's got to see that he's just one tiny little speck in a vast and infinite universe. All this sounds pretty philosophical and complicated, but it's not. All it means is that Max has to retain his precious sense of humor that he was given at birth. We've all got to do this to remain happy in this hairy and scary world that we found ourselves in now. I don't mean to say that you should never take anything seriously. There are lots of things that deserves a somber attitude, But the joy from having a sense of humor will help you no matter what you're doing. And I beg of you, try not to ever take anything so seriously that it leads you to despair. I know it's hard, because the world's going to come up to us many times, and it's going to slap us on the face, and it's going to drop big sledgehammers on our toes, but all we got to try to do is just smile back at it and carry on as best we can. Now it's time for a little story. There was a famous French author back in the 40s and 50s named Albert Camus. I'm sure some of you have heard of him. He wrote lots of good books. Anyway, Camus wrote this essay called The Myth of Sisyphus. Did you guys remember Sisyphus? Remember back to Greek mythology? Sisyphus is famous for his punishment that the gods gave to him. For all eternity, he had to roll this really, really heavy rock up this really steep mountain. And when he would finally, after all his struggle and his strain and his grimacing and his fighting, he'd finally get this rock to the top, and then he'd have to watch it roll back down, and he'd have to start all over again. And he'd do this for all eternity, not a lifetime, not a couple of days, all eternity. And Camus thought that this punishment was a lot like human beings in their situation here on Earth. He felt that we as humans are always struggling and striving to achieve an absurd goal in an infinitely absurd universe. At first, this might seem like a world full of suffering, and it can be. But Camus had a loophole for us. He said that Sisyphus was okay because as he was walking back down that mountain, and he looked down and he saw his rock waiting for him, he made a conscious decision that he was going to go back down there and he was going to pick up his rock and he was going to continue on no matter how ridiculous it was. I think this is all great and fine, but I think you got to go a little further if you're going to be truly happy and truly avoid as much suffering as possible. What I think Sisyphus has to do as he's walking back down that mountain is not only decide to go pick up his rock, he's got to throw his head back and he's got to laugh wholeheartedly to himself for going down and doing it. And he's got to laugh at his rock as it's sitting there wedged up against his face tightly and he's carrying it up that hill. And he's got to laugh at the mountain, and he's got to laugh at the sky, and he's got to laugh at the trees, and he's got to laugh at Zeus, because Zeus gave him that task. And so here we are graduating, and in my mind's eye I see this perfect group of open-minded, laughing, merry graduates heading out to conquer the world with a smile. But of course that can't be a reality, nor would it be any fun if it was a reality. But maybe all of us can possess just a little of what I call an ideal. This person would be an open-minded and open-hearted person, one who is always listening, always absorbing and learning new things, one who is compassionate and humble, one who adapts well to changing situations, someone who accepts those people that are different from himself. I think this is what humor and taking life with a smile can give you. Laughing at your own silly self breaks down conceit and self-importance that can cause people to become inflexible and stagnate. After all, how can you accept new ideas if you can't laugh at your old ones? And anyway, when are you happier than when you're smiling? It's only common sense. And happiness is the point, isn't it? Not wealth, not power, not recognition. Just happiness. How's about that? And I can see there might be some critics out there who might say, well, you're just an idealistic fool. The world would be a mess if everyone was carefree and laughing and silly all the time. Who would run the country? Well, all I can say is that I'd feel a lot more comfortable with someone who possessed these qualities that I've talked about as president than a serious-minded egotist with a violent streak. I know what you're all thinking now. You're saying compassionate, flexible, always learning new things, tolerant. Oh, George Bush! Oh, the problem's solved. Well, I guess we don't have to look any further. Well, we can't always be so lucky. But think about it, though. How many wars in history have been started by laughter, and how many have been started by pride? Another bunch of skeptics might say, silly boy, you're being childish. Well, thank you so much. You know, I can't think of anything better than being a child. I am a child, I'll last a while. You can't conceive of the pleasure in my smile. 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish. Now that's fun. A child can sit for hours enraptured, merely staring at a flower or playing in the grass. I know a lot of uptight businessmen that could gain a whole lot by contemplating a flower or playing in a grassy field instead of kicking off their shoes, reading the newspaper, and drinking martinis. In addition, you that call me a child, let us not forget what a certain popular bearded prophet said. Unless you become as little children, you shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Well, you can switch that around in your brain for a while and make of it whatever you want. That's the beauty of having a sense of humor. It really doesn't matter. And finally, someone might call me mildly crazy. Well, if laughing and dancing and smiling and wearing a wolf suit and a big purple hat is crazy, then bring on the straitjacket and throw me in a big round rubber room, because I don't want to be sane if I have to be dreary. And where did we ever get this idea this attachment to seriousness and suffering anyway? I know there's a lot of suffering in the world, but I think the problem's not at the source, but in the way we look at it. It's all right, and it's natural to feel pain. Who can avoid it? Well, let's not hold on to it forever. Especially for us at Hopewell. I mean, we're not starving. We've got roofs to sleep under. We have an education. So why fret and worry and have ulcers by the time we're 30? I don't know. I guess it's just another of many bad habits this society has taught us. Somewhere ingrained into us is a strange idea that it's more noble to suffer at the feet of a vengeful god than it is to frolic in the woods with a bearded, bark-eating, tree-climbing troll. I guess we'll just have to root it out. And so it comes down to this. Tomorrow, yes, tomorrow, you'll wake up, and it'll be the rest of your life right there. And you're going to have to make one decision. Are you going to carry your life like a tiresome, painful, and heavy burden and make all the world your prison cell? Or are you going to laugh and dance and smile through your life and make all the world your rumpus room? And so to end, in the words of our valiant hero and friend Max, having just become king of all the wild things, let the wild rumpus begin. Thank you. Tarun Kapoor will be coming up next to speak to you about harmony.
The world is ours. But if we cannot get along with those around us, the world is not ours for very long. In order for us to reach our goals, we must exert ourselves. In order for us to enjoy our success to the fullest, we must share it with everyone. To live in harmony, another may be roaming large airports in bright orange garb selling incense. But is finding harmony that easy? Can we put a few hours into a daily routine and expect ourselves to establish solid, lasting, trusting relationships with some of those we meet? The answer is no. How can finding harmony be that easy when we all know how difficult it is to establish trusting relationships and know how easy it is to destroy them? Harmony is not achieved by those who are passive, those who say, you go your way and I'll go mine. Harmony is achieved by those who say, we will not go alone, we will go together. I know the search for these friendships is not that easy. There have been times when I said, it's just not worth it. And there have been times like these when I regret those thoughts. But I ask everybody here today, is there anything greater than being with your friends? Is there anything greater than knowing that there is someone there for you? Is there any better feeling as a human being than knowing that your friendship has helped one person make it through a miserable day? Unfortunately, we are now living in a world marked by discord on all levels, from our neighborhoods to our nation states. As we begin to explore our newest paths in life, it is guaranteed that there will be those people who will try to hurt us. Why, I do not know, but it will happen. But as I look into the eyes of my friends seated here in their finest garb, I know there's not only hope, but a true answer to many of our problems. So, my friends, when we meet again in a new millennium, with our own piece of the world to call ours, please bring that warm smile that has always greeted me, and that hand of friendship I will dearly miss. I feel a little sad today, because it seems I'm parting from many of my friends. But at the same time, I feel very happy because the rest of the world is gaining some very, very wonderful people. Goodbye for now, my friends, and please, be good to each other. Thank you. I would like to introduce David Stephen Chesley. Speak on creativity.
What's up? My name's Dave. That's it. All right. I'll never know how an immature high school student like myself could possibly feel qualified to discuss such a broad and frightening topic as creativity, but I suppose that as long as I'm here, I might as well talk a little bit about it, you know. Couldn't do any harm. The word creativity entails so much within itself. I honestly don't feel that there is one correct definition that can embrace all the meaning this word holds. Creativity is often associated with music. Creativity is found in the visual arts. Creativity serves as the core of most noteworthy literature. Creativity is the building block for almost all theatrical undertakings. The creativity I'm going to focus on today involves not one particular area of study. The fact that creativity is rooted and contained solely in one division in life is not a fact at all. I'm here to tell you that creativity is prevalent everywhere. Creativity is a living, breathing entity that swims all around us. Each and every one of us in any and every walk of life. Where is creativity? How is it found? To begin, you must remember that creativity all begins as a state of mind. The number one objective is to develop yourself psychologically. I quote George Bernard Shaw, "Imagination is the beginning of creation. You imagine what you would desire, and you will what you imagine, and at last you create what you will." You must deny substance, deny fact, deny right, deny wrong, deny any certainties exist. If creativity were given a body, it would most certainly not be a body with a definite concrete form, but rather it would sustain itself as a pseudopod, ever changing and manipulating. I quote Matthew Tobrenner, Judge, California Supreme Court. "Man's drive for self-expression, which over the centuries has built his monuments, does not stay within set bounds. The creations which yesterday were the detested and the obscene become the classics of today. Certainties, preset guidelines, whether moral or otherwise, only restrict your flow of creativity. If you deny the existence of such certainties, you have complete and utter freedom. All the secrets of a creative life lie in a perpetual daydream, unscathed by the smog of worldliness. And once you have tapped into this creative being, you will never want to return. I urge you all to free yourselves from your surroundings and venture into a world of mental expansion. Don't let anyone or anything confine you." In leaving, I would like to shower you all with a grand finale of quotes. It's going to be 5 quotes to be exact, so just hold on to your hats and don't go anywhere. All right. Now the first one, it's a statement made by Robert Motherwell in 1985 in the New York Times. Sorry. It may be that the deep necessity of art is the examination of self-deception. The second is one from a rock band that has in the semi-recent past obtained popularity. "There ain't no right, there ain't no wrong, there's only pleasure and pain." Jane's Addiction, thank you very much. I forget the third one. The The fourth quote is from a fellow classmate of mine. All right. The quote was first pronounced to me one fine afternoon in the school parking lot, and I'll never forget it. Tom Clark told me to, and I quote, "Take her easy." Now, I want you all to take her easy. All right? All right, all right. I want you all to take her easy, all right? But you got to, all right. But before you do, I have one final quote. I would like to ask you all to please rise for this last quote, but I know you won't, so just stay seated. For the last time, it's the last time I'm going to say it. It's the last time you're going to have to hear it, but I really got to say it. As Ian Hendricks, president of our student council, so profoundly stated, the best thing about school is 3 o'clock. Good luck. Peace be with you. Bon voyage.
Good evening. It is always a pleasure to introduce a colleague and friend. I have the privilege this evening to introduce Mr. David E. Hordike, recently retired principal of Hopewell Valley Central High School. Dave began his career at Hanover Park Regional High School after earning a bachelor's degree in social studies from Montclair State. He served as teacher and department chairperson at Hanover Park. In 1971, he moved to Wisconsin and Brown Deer High School, where he served as assistant principal for 6 years and then became principal at Jefferson High School, a post he held for 3 years before returning to his native New Jersey and Hopewell Valley. Dave served as high school principal for 11.5 years, longer than any other individual in the history of our high school. This will be his 12th address to our graduates, and this evening marks the awarding of almost 2,400 high school diplomas under his leadership. Our superintendent commented at Dave's retirement, "His caring and fatherly approach to stewardship is second to none." Ladies, gentlemen, and graduates, Mr. David E. Hordike.
Thank you, Jack. Thanks, Jennifer, Sam, Tarun, and David for your talks. I haven't been David E. Hordike for 6 months. It's been Dave at home, and it's a pleasure to be back with you. When I received a call from Holt Murray, your class president, asking me to make some comments tonight, I was both surprised and honored. Since I retired January in '92, I followed you with interest what your class has accomplished. You're a talented group. You always have been. And now as you go into graduation, you've given ample evidence of that ability. I didn't anticipate, however, that I would be connected in any formal way with your graduation. There is a certain symmetry, though, to my being here tonight, both personally and professionally. Jack Farr mentioned my first job at Hanover Park back in '59, when I worked with that class, and then 34 classes since then, culminating with, of course, the best, the class of '92. Certainly no arguments on that. Almost, in those 34 years, almost 8,000 students have walked across to receive their diploma. And after they've graduated, the kind of youngsters I've been fortunate to work with, the young men and women, went on to join that little nucleus of hardworking men and women who keep this country going in so many ways. I know the same will be true of the class of '92, who are graduating tonight. You've been fortunate to be given an opportunity to leave here with almost an edge because of many people's work and many decisions and a great deal of effort on many people's part, including your own. It's no accident. You know all the people who have been involved, your family, your parents, teachers who have taught you from kindergarten on, a very fine academic program, a supportive community that's given us what we needed, And last, but certainly not least, you people have taken advantage of the opportunities that have been given to you. As a retired educator who respects and loves this school and all in it, it's my fervent hope that all future graduates of this school will have the same atmosphere of educational excellence that you, ladies and gentlemen, have gone through. The students who come after you, who will be graduating in 93, 94, and afterwards, deserve nothing but the best. They deserve what you were given. I hope that this district always gives that opportunity. Now, there's a lot of things that separate us, including 10 or 15 years of age, or more, maybe much more. But there's one thing that we share, a similarity, that I'd like to point to. We are both, at this point, as individuals, beginning a new and exciting chapter in our lives. My thanks to you for being invited to speak to you and being a small part of your graduation. My best wishes to each and every one of you. I'll be listening and reading and looking for all the many things you're going to accomplish. My thanks for everything, and good luck, and God bless you. I'm now going to turn the class back and the program back to a gentleman who has done an excellent job in 6 months, my good friend and very competent co-worker, Jack Parr.
Thanks very much. At this time, it is my privilege to introduce to you the Hopewell Valley Central High School graduating class of 1992. Our commencement speaker this evening is Trenton State College President, Dr. Harold Eichhoff, a Hopewell Township resident. Dr. Eichhoff arrived at Trenton State College after serving as Vice President for Academic Affairs at Fort Hays State University in Kansas and Executive Assistant and Executive Vice President at Old Dominion University in Virginia. He earned his PhD in history from the University of Missouri. Since Dr. Eichhoff assumed the leadership of Trenton State College, the college has consistently been ranked as highly competitive, accepting students in the top 20 to 35% of their graduating classes with average SAT scores of 1100. Trenton State College was ranked number 8 out of the top 15 Northeastern regional colleges in a recent U.S. News and World Report survey. The current reputation and prominence enjoyed by Trenton State College is a tribute to Dr. Eichhoff's strong leadership and commitment to the college. We are proud to have him address our graduates and equally proud that he chose to send his daughter to Hopewell Valley Central High School. Dr. Eichhoff.
Thank you, Mr. Farr, and good evening, everyone. A special greeting to you, class of 1992. I'm appreciative of the remarks offered by your classmates on experiences, humor, harmony, and creativity. But I begin my remarks tonight with reference to 2 other commencements I have attended within the last fortnight. One I presided over at Trenton State College. The other at some distance removed at Ohio University as a witness at the graduation of our daughter Janet, who was among the seniors here at this location 4 years ago. What I learned again from these experiences and the behavior of the audiences is this: we live in a time when people demand determinative answers, determinative results, and we are mindlessly impatient for both determinative answers and results. So my task this evening is to present a message that has profound substance and to deliver it in sound bites, no more than a handful. Thus, my speaking time, I knew that would get their attention. My speaking time will be less than 15 minutes. Absent pauses to receive your applause. But let us begin tonight on a serious note, remembering one of you who is not among you. Earlier this evening, one of your classmates had his life cut tragically short. So I ask you, please, to put down the toilet paper, take from your hands the soap bubbles, forget the beach balls, and join your hands. Please join your hands. Join your hands as we reflect that someone so young and so full of potential was taken from us. And let us resolve that that brings to us an additional responsibility, a responsibility in our lives. What we do from this day forward, I ask that you give meaning to this young man's life and that its promise will go forward with each of you. Now, I ask you to think of my remarks within that framework, for this really is a night of celebration, a night of joy and pride, a time for families to come together, a time to honor achievement. But it also marks a closure, an end to a more protected and secure part of your lives, and the beginning of a time that offers more freedom. A freedom, yes, to unclasp your hands, and with that freedom, a greater responsibility. As you begin the exercise of this freedom, you cannot escape a world being transformed by rapid, even savage change. Be reminded that since 1988, the Berlin Wall fell. We had the Persian Gulf War. A world power, the Soviet Union, disintegrated. All of these things you were reminded by Jennifer. There has been the unparalleled spread of violence, ethnic violence that has spilled blood in the Balkans and around the globe. And the Middle East has found no solutions. And here in our beloved U.S., we see the traditional family as an institution continue its decline. Crime is everywhere. We have a virtually unchecked drug epidemic. Racism cuts an ugly swath across our society. We are overwhelmed by joblessness, poverty, sickness, schools that don't work, an imperiled environment, the national indebtedness that has become a mortal wound, and a political system in disarray, plus a news media that repeats in the living spaces of our homes these threats to a decent life every half hour via cable headline news. Now, these changes and problems so laden with uncertainty should give us great pause. And anyone will tell you that prolonged instability will finally break even the toughest spirit. We need people. We need something held in common among those people, something to act as an anchor, something we can believe in, something to sustain even the strongest among us. For without that something, we surrender to events over which we seem to have no control. And when people feel overwhelmed, they lose reason to hope. And without hope, the future is lost. I thus turn to the vital matter of hope. You, a truly talented group of young people, must be optimistic. You must have confidence, and you must embrace the idealism that is naturally among the young. Those attributes which you enjoy an unusual measure will soon be put to the test. And as you apply your talents and your values in this world, I urge you to be observant. Observant of your professors, your employers, your colleagues, all those you meet. Yes, even look anew at your parents and your grandparents. Look especially for those qualities that make a difference. Learn from people with a passion for what they do. People who take responsibility for themselves and others. People who embody the best in civilized values. You will find that such people have high expectations of themselves and from those around them. They have a deep passion and a commitment for what they do. An energy and a zest for life flows from them because they find purpose, they find meaning in what they do. They have hope and know how to translate that hope into action. That doesn't mean they don't worry. They feel discouraged. They have setbacks, even heartbreaking failures. But what they have in common is persistence. Let me tell you of the highlights of the life of a person whose name is recognized and revered and embodies the essence of persistence. Age 22, failed in business. Age 23, ran for the legislature, was defeated. Age 24, failed in business again. Age 25, elected to the state legislature. Age 27, had a nervous breakdown. Age 29, defeated for Speaker of the legislature. Age 31, defeated as an elector. Age 34, defeated for Congress. Age 37, elected to Congress. Age 39, again defeated for Congress. Age 46, defeated for the Senate. Age 47, defeated for the Vice Presidency of the United States. Age 49, defeated again for the Senate. And at age 51, elected President of the United States. His name, Abraham Lincoln. I submit to you that people who make a difference are those who bring hope, passion, commitment, and tenacity to the center of their lives. Those who do not live with hope and persistence will ensure that the problems and obstacles we face will finally overwhelm us. At this time of commencement, you should ask, what contribution will you make? Can you make? Will you be among those remembered as turning hopes into reality, as having the persistence to have made a difference? I'm convinced that you really have no other choice, because if each of us neglect to do what we are capable of, because then we guarantee the end of civilization as we know it on this planet, not under a nuclear mushroom cloud, but rather civilization will end by small groups joining together to return us to the laws of the jungle, a vicious survival of the fittest. Think then of the profession you want to enter, whether it is medicine, teaching, business, law, the ministry, the military service, or the good, honest labor of your hands. Learn all you can, develop your talents to their fullest, and pay close attention to those whose lives are centered on hope. Know that change will come slowly. That is why, in this day and time, when impatience is a way of life, you need to remember the persistence of Abraham Lincoln. My remarks to you this evening have been deliberately serious. But while the road ahead will involve serious pursuit of further education or another career, that does not mean you need to be grim about it. Take time to make friends, to laugh, to have fun, to do something new. Oh yes, make certain that you try new things, but always strive to make a difference. My hearty congratulations to you, to the families, parents, and of course especially to you graduates. May you find it in each of you to translate your hopes and dreams into the reality of a better world. My best wishes go with you, class of '92. The world is yours.
Dr. Eichhoff, thank you for your wit, satire, and introspection. Thank you for validating the quality of a Hopewell Valley education. And thank you for your spirit of community, friendship, and for being a continuing supporter of young people. Before certification of our senior class, I would like to thank the high school administration and support staff for all the work in organizing tonight's program. And a special thank you to Jack Farr for his stewardship of the high school since Mr. Hordike's retirement. Jack, a job well done. This is the 6th time that I will be responsible for presenting the graduating class to the president of the Hopewell Valley Regional Board of Education. And let me say that with each commencement program, I've always been nervous about the weather and the sound system. I've also had trepidations about whether or not our seniors have something special planned, what the fire marshal would say about seating arrangements, or what I would do if I ever forgot my speech. I would get butterflies in my stomach and tears in my eyes when our orchestra would play Pomp and Circumstance at our baccalaureate and commencement exercises. It has been incredibly rewarding to observe the young people and the membership of our community gather together for this event. It has always been impressive to listen to the quality and depth of our student speakers, and this evening was no different. It has been a humbling experience to be a small part of the commencement exercises for the past 6 years, and it has been a distinct honor and privilege to certify the integrity, quality, and richness of a Hopewell Valley education, a schoolhouse program that is in practice a very special experience for our young people. So it's sincere best wishes to and fondness for each graduating senior, and a genuine appreciation for the opportunity to serve as superintendent. To the class of 1992, family, staff members, and friends, as superintendent of schools, it is a privilege to certify that 163 students have satisfied the requirements of the Hopewell Valley Regional Board of Education and the New Jersey State Department of Education for a secondary school diploma. Mr. Brannigan, I proudly present the class of 1992 to you for graduation.
Congratulations to the class of 1992. From the Board of Education, the entire community, your family are filled with pride for you. You truly are the best that Hopewell Valley can offer to this world. Now to the diplomas.
You're on the platform, he's at the mic.
People ready to rise over there? You want to give them the signal? Malaya Crawford. Sandra M. Pittman. Kate Auberger. Deborah Kim Allen. Jennifer Lynn Ames. Jennifer A. Johnson. Samuel Maverick Byard. Tarun K. Kapoor. David S. Chesley. Holt Nicholas Murray. Jeffrey D. Anderson. Jill Ellen Anderson. Amy Gail Alcott. Desiree J. Babiars. Andrea Lee Barr. Amy Bassarab. Shalair Marie Bacall. Michael S. Bennett. Kevin Beresford. Enid Baxter Blader. Elizabeth Borglund. Jesse S. Branham III. Christina Alexis Broderick. Nathan Andrew Brown. J. Nelson Brown III. Kathleen Burke. Deanna Campione. Denny Kathleen Carr. Vincent G. Casano. James W. Clark. Thomas H. Clark, Jr. Jennifer W. Klaus. Timothy D. Coleman. Alyssa M. Corbin. Andrew R. Corcoran. Christina Lynn Cox. Philip Allen Coy. David G. Cumming. John Peter Coniglio. Caroline M. Curcio. Jennifer Marie Dahlem. Sean E. Davis. Deanna L. Delamontagne. Carolyn Delker. Mary Beth DeLuca. Daniel Lawrence DeMarco. Joseph M. DiNatal, Jr. Kathleen Dorr. Alan T. Dowler. Patricia L. Edel. Christine J. Ennis. Mark Falutico. Sina J. Fedorchek. Todd Fiorentino. Matthew Fish. Elizabeth M. Formidoni. Jennifer L. Fugis. Lawrence X. Gallagher. Sarah A. Jason. Jacob Krebiel Gertz. Stephanie Gorzicki. Carrie Lee Grames. Daniel Grolmish. Michelle D. Gross. Stephanie Haftel. Mariah K. Heimer. Kimberly Hess. Erica Ann Hokinson. Beatrice Y. Horobin. Donald Huber. John A. Jaworski. Kip Michael Kelly. Wendy L. King. Joshua D. Kosis. Kaya Cole. Amy Patricia Lanterman. Todd P. Lewis. William J. Mackey. Diane Marie Mansu.
Scott A. Marjoram. Kelly Marino. Matthew G. Martin. Lori Lynn Matthews. Georgine Marie McCormick. Yvonne L. Mead. Jordan M. Milk. Andrea Merrick. Sean Meyer. Allison L. Miller.
Wait a minute, you got one more?
Jason R. Mills. Harry W. Morton. Allison S. Nami. Brian J. Nealon. Christian Nelson. Gabriel M. V. Nero. Reka L. Nagam. Eric Norton. Aaron O'Connor. Dana L. Oliver. Tamara L. Pertz. Kenneth A. Phillips. Mandy Sue Petrowitz. Tara Deborah Pontani. Jessica Lynn Podovin. Diane Lynn Ramirez. Richard Redding. Matthew Redding. Alicia M. Reed. Michael W. Rieger. James S. Regetz. Daniel H. Rhodes. Sandra Marie Reiser. Elizabeth Ritter. Daniel S. Robeson. Sean Roman.
Oh, thank you.
C. Justin Romano. Gretchen Salzer. Eric M. Saperstein. Christopher Schaffler. Andrea Lynn Shearer. Jason Schmidt. John F. Schmittinger. Brian P. Schwartz. Gabriel F. Shallis. Paul D. Shahid. Eric G. Sheehan. Jeremy John Shinkfield. Burke Sinclair. Ellen Faith Skibitsky.
Burke, knock it off.
Caitlin Cara Small. Laura J. Smith. Deanza Marie Somerville. Elise Spiro. Brett D. Stauffer. Keith B. Stewart. Benjamin W. Stiles. Elizabeth Ann Stoltenberg. Aaron T. Stover. Michael Dennis Striegel. Peter Swanson. Christopher John Sykes. Elaine Deborah Sylvester. Michael W. Takis. Rebecca Lynn Taylor. Tammy Lynn Thompson. Jennifer Elizabeth Tome. Timothy Vanetta. Holly Elizabeth Van Leeuwen. Ariel Deanna von Spronson. Dmitry Alexander Vasilio. Matthew David Walsh. Jamie Maria Weber. Michael Weber. Brent K. West. Jennifer Lynn Woods. Michael R. Woodward. Jill Ann Yanko. John F. Zambrano. Robert Joseph Zaremba.
Congratulations. As we leave today, we leave part of our lives behind. May we never forget the love and joy we felt through these past 13 years. Nor should we forget the lessons we've learned. Whether attending college next year or working, I wish you all the best life has to offer. May love, success, and happiness be your companions through the journey you're about to embark upon. Let the path you choose be smooth and level. And never forget that the friends you embrace tonight are friends for life and will always offer you a shoulder to lean on. Good luck, and may God bless you. Please rise for the benediction.
And on this beautiful occasion, this beautiful evening, shall we look to God in prayer? O Lord, as we leave this place, a place so earthy by the sweat of minds and bodies, by the interchange of ideas and sometimes the clash of wills, we are even now beginning to sense that for us it is indeed a holy place. For over the years you have met us here. And so, God of our fathers and mothers, God of other people, the God who sometimes seems to be the God of just about everyone except us, be our God too. Be with us, guiding us, guarding us, prodding us, challenging us, that when this present life is done, this world may be a better place because we have lived and served in it. In your name we pray. Amen.
may I have only the following. If we can make a pile of music on the corner of the stage, and these stands and chairs just go in the pit, we're out of here. Thank you.